Before you get started, it's easy to have a cleaning caddy. Just put a couple sponges, a track brush, and a few basic items. You might need a little brush just to scrub the track. Shoe covers are always important. I like to have a spray bottle to spray the track, and then another bottle of soap just to use your squeegee and mop. A couple of towels, nothing fancy. The whole idea with that is just so you don't have to bring in a belt full of stuff. Of course, you'll want a squeegee and a scrubber. Always lift the blind gently. Use one hand to pull the cord, the other hand to raise it up. You don't want to jerk the cord and risk knocking the whole thing down. Before you get started, just wipe the edges. Sometimes you might find spider webs or something in the edges or dirt. Notice he's not using a lot of water. He's just spray a little bit of water on the glass directly. When you're inside, it's really important not to drip water everywhere on the floor, sheetrock. He's doing a basic fanning technique, just back and forth, nothing too complicated. Close out. And notice he put the squeegee up right away, so it's not just dripping on the carpet. Now he's just going to detail the edges real quick, wipe the bottom. It's more ideal to use a second towel to wipe the bottom instead of your detail towel. And again, just rinse and repeat on the bottom frame. He's just going to do the same thing. Notice he has a cleaning caddy. And inside, we always wear shoe covers. And notice he's put a towel down because the whole idea inside is we want to manage water, not just drip everywhere. And detail, if you're detailing with more than 1 or 2 fingers, you're probably doing it wrong. So just keep that in mind. It's just to detail the very edge. And again, it would be better if he'd use a separate towel to wipe the bottom sill, but it's not too big of a deal. Now this particular style of window, you'll notice he has to lift straight up. These little latches, they just move in and out. And that would be commonly known as a tilt-in window. Then there's a couple little tabs you have to straighten out. Lift the screen straight up, get a corner, and just drop it outside. Make sure that those cords are out of the way when you close the window. Now you're ready to clean the track. But before you clean the track, you want to make sure to wipe the bottom of the window and the sides. And right here, we're just using a natural sea sponge to wipe the sides and the bottom. Because really, we don't want to have a clean track and then put a dirty window on top of it. So you'll notice step 1, Patrick is just going to sweep out any big debris. Step 2, he's just going to spray the corners. And step 3, he's using that little brush to kind of agitate the soap and get the dirt out of there. And notice his technique, how he's really focused on the corner and moving that dirt to the middle. Once you have it agitated, now get your soapy sponge, jam that into the corner, wipe across, jam it into the other corner, wipe across. And notice how nice the track is turning out. It's already white, clean, clear. And then he's just using a dry microfiber type of cloth. He's going to wipe not only the track, but the seal. Now, when it comes to screen cleaning, the ideal way is to soap it, run it through the screen machine. And notice he's going to rotate it 3 times to get all 4 corners, because you really want to make sure we're getting the screen and the frame. And then he's just going to gently tap it to knock some water off. And even though it went through the screen cleaner, you still need to wipe the edges. Sometimes the edges are not that clean. The other way to clean a screen if you don't have a screen cleaner is just simply take your mop, soap it down. And notice he's making sure to get the edges with it too. He's not just getting the screen. And he did flip it over. He's soaping both ends of it. And once he has it soaped up, now he's going to take his towel, just wipe the edges. Typically with screens, the bottom edge will be the dirtiest and the one the customer notices the most. So we really want to make sure it's clean. And he's just hitting the water off. You don't want to hit it too hard. Screens can be kind of fragile. Just leave it there to dry. Start cleaning the window. So on exterior window cleaning, you could use a lot more water because it doesn't matter if you drip. But before he gets into glass cleaning, he's going to wipe that frame. This frame isn't that dirty, but he's still wiping all the frames down. Now he's going to apply a good amount of water and cleaning solution on the glass. In this case, it's just some soap and water. We're using an abrasive. Notice on the inside cleaning, he didn't use an abrasive. Typically, you don't need it inside, but outside, it's always a good idea. Really good fanning technique, and you could already see how great the glass looks. Now he's just going to detail with one finger. When you detail, you always want to pick a dry spot of the towel and just wipe the edge. And then once he's done with that, now he's just doing a quick little spot check, a little touch up. And a good way to spot check is take your dry steel wool. If there's any little area that's not all the way clean, you could scrub it out. And the dry wool does not hurt the glass as long as it's not rusted and it doesn't have any debris caught in it. Of course, with steel wool, it's always grade 0000, which is the finest one that they make. You don't want to do a rough steel wool that will scratch it. Now on the bottom pane, notice he put a little more emphasis on scrubbing the very bottom because he wants to make sure it looks nice. And instead of cutting in, he's just feathering. But you'll notice he feather, fan, and then he close out. Really good technique. Always make sure you have a new rubber in your squeegee, or, don't let it be more than 4 or 5 days old before you replace the rubber. And he's gonna wipe the very bottom, make it look nice. Okay, now the window's perfectly clean, it's detailed. So final step, he's just gonna flip that open, put the screen in place. And once he has it in place, he'll lock the 2 little tabs at the top. A lot of screens have springs, but this particular window is tilt-in with the 2 tabs. And you always want to lock the window before you're done with the job. Gently lower that down using 2 hands. So we always want the perfectly clean window.